F-22 Raptor, the first and only fifth-generation fighter aircraft flying in the world today. Overwhelmingly effective, defending the skies today and into the future.
You talk too much. I can't believe the things that you say.
Pete Hoekstra,
Richard Lugar, George Allen, James Webb,
John McCain, Chris Dodd,
Governor Richardson,
Lindsey Graham, Barbara Boxer, Nicholas Burns,
Nicholas Burns, Nicholas Burns,
Nicholas Burns.
Diplomacy can't be measured in a snapshot. You can't just say on a Sunday morning in July that somehow because we haven't come to the end of the negotiations, these negotiations are bound to fail.
Watching Nick Burns here tell you that the world is more complicated than you think, Chris, I thought, oh my God, we're back to the Clinton administration. Nick Burns was actually a pretty good spokesman for Bill Clinton's State Department in the first couple of years, and there's not a word he said today that couldn't have been said cheerfully by Clinton administration types.
Well, I strongly disagree with that criticism from Bill Kristol, and I disagree for one reason. We have a very strong and active government from the Pentagon, the State Department, the White House, Treasury. We are focused on all of these problems.
Has North Korea gotten more dangerous on President Bush's watch?
Perhaps. They've certainly been able to produce more missiles, and they are selling missiles. They may have a trade of as much of $1.5 billion of selling no-dong missiles to other people.
So I think if you look at the Clinton administration's approach and the Bush administration's approach, I think when Clinton was president, they were far less isolated and far less dangerous.
The Chinese are hanging by a thread politically with the Congress now over trade policy. If they don't really come to the table harder with North Korea, they're going to be hanging by a thread in terms of international diplomatic policy.
Now, I'm not suggesting we ought to go along with exactly what the Chinese suggest, but listen to them. It's very valuable to listen to them. This is probably the single most important relationship we'll have in the 21st century.
And who has the leverage? China does, Russia to a lesser degree. And unless that leverage is exercised, I'm not sure that this rogue state is going to behave in any civilized or normal fashion.
Face-to-face discussions with the United States directly, I believe, is a precursor to the continuation of the six-party talks.
I think we can be out of Iraq in 2 years.
So you think we can be out in 2 years, but you don't want to set a hard deadline?
That's right.
completely out in 2 years. Now he's got a timetable. Be out in 2 years, I think that it would have to be such rapid progress. I think we'll still have a presence.
You said in your speech that you wanted to give every veteran who's ever served a 5% tax break. How much is that going to cost?
You know, it actually doesn't cost that much. We haven't gotten the bottom line numbers on it, but we did a lot of research on it. The best way to pay for it is there's plenty of people making an awful lot of money on this war.
So you'd roll back some of President Bush's tax cuts for the wealthy?
I don't understand really how you can have a tax cut and be spending $500 billion on a war.
Joe Lieberman has been a fabulous senator for our state, has been a fabulous senator for the country. I disagree with Joe, as some people do, about the Iraq war, but on almost every other issue, he's been a mainstream Democrat, and I'll take a position on August 9th if I have to. The most important question is, can Joe Lieberman be renominated on August 8th, and I hope he is.
So you'll go and campaign for him?
I am going to spend a couple hours there in Connecticut just telling the people what I know about Joe. He and I disagree completely on the war in Iraq.
Now, what happens if he loses the primary and he runs as an independent? Will you support him then?
I think we'll all have something to say at that time, but the people of Connecticut will make their choice.
Are you worried that this challenge is going to make it more difficult for you to run for president?
I don't think about it. I know what the task at hand is.
Do you think they'll be okay with the fact that you're not promising to serve out that term?
Gosh, it's all I can do to get a lot of them to just say, hey, pay attention to the task at hand. There's a lot that they'll say, oh, we want you to run for president. We want you, I hope you run, and so forth. I said, fine, fine. We'll just pay attention to the task at hand.
She went out of her way to say that she wouldn't, having left it ambiguous because she might be running for president, and she doesn't feel you can take on the left-wing base of the Democratic Party. So we have a Clintonian Bush administration and a McGovernite Democratic Party. What a wonderful situation.
You talk too much. I can't believe the things that you say.
F-22 Raptor. It is stealthy, lightning fast, supremely agile, highly precise. survivable. Providing unsurpassed capability, this fifth-generation fighter aircraft, the first and only kind flying in the world today, once again providing the air power advantage. F-22 Raptor, overwhelmingly effective, defending the skies today and into the future.